I guess you're never gonna mistake Nick Robertson for a defender again. Yeah, but how did the OT winner start? Oh! Let's go! Give me what I want! Kick down the door! Drew, you are not doing this! Not nice! There's a giant head! You hear yourself? I made like 2,000 of these. I'd like to have fun. With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Victory, Puppy Ziggy! Well, I guess we're not gonna forget his position now. Can I get a high five? He scored twice. You can't... No? Nick Robertson is a forward, and Nick Robertson is a Leaf! Leafs win! 3-2 in overtime over the Dallas Stars. You ever had a really bad hangover? They're not fun, are they? No, that's why I've retired. Well, like a wrestler, but you know. Anyway, you ever have a hangover and you have that life-saving breakfast the next morning? The hangover was that godforsaken Arizona Coyotes game that hung over us like a pox on all our houses for the last 72 hours. This game, this win, was breakfast. So let's talk about that game from a Leafs perspective, and we'll have a Stars perspective as well. We got Grav in on this video, but first, want to bet? You can do it at Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook. Football's back, the baseball playoffs are still going, basketball, hockey, obviously. Bet pregame live in play or on one of their many prop bets. Made for Canadians by Canadians, Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. It's 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. So, I just want to know when it's going to happen. When is it going to happen? Can you tell me when it's going to happen? The what is the apology that Nick Robertson is owed? An apology from, one, the Toronto Maple Leafs because he didn't make the opening night roster. How dare you? And number two, I'm going to throw myself in there. Because on the podcast, I said, despite his incredible preseason, I wasn't really sure Nick Robertson had to be on this team. He could have played on this team, but I didn't know that he had to be on this team. And this game against the Dallas Stars, against his brother, no less. Did you hear that? Did you hear that storyline? They hadn't mentioned it. His game in this one was so good, he's got a lot of people, including maybe myself, convinced that he should never play another game in the American Hockey League ever again. From Nick D'Souza, who might be slightly biased because of the name. Nick Robertson tonight, 2 goals including the game winner, broke up a huge 2-on-1, led the Leafs with a 64.92 XGF percentage at 5-on-5. What a night, what a player. I don't know if they shouted it like I did. I did that. There was a lot of conversation after the Coyotes game that you don't have to win every game, and you literally can't, no one has ever done it, win every game. And I think that's absolutely true, and I highlighted this as a game the Leafs could lose, and fans would be like, yeah, well, you're not going to win every game. It's Dallas, they're quite good, you don't win every home game, it's okay. And it's not even just that the Leafs lost to the Coyotes, it's the way they did it, which was essentially trying for 5 minutes at the beginning and maybe 10 minutes at the end. So the heat rose over the last few days because we had to sit in that. And then there were the Keefe comments and the Marner comments and the comments about the comments. And all of a sudden, this is shaping up to be a bit of a must-win. It is at very least a must-show-up. Nick Robertson in the lineup, a lot of people excited about that. Victor Mete also in the lineup for his Leafs debut. Not as many people excited about that or talking about that, and feels like we maybe should have talked more about that, because if Victor Mete is in the lineup, it means Jake Muzzin is not. Now, it's an injury. We're still waiting to hear more. He's on IR right now, not LTIR, so my understanding is he doesn't have to be out for at least 10 games or 24 days like LTIR. But Mitch Marner's comments about him, the way I'm seeing Elliot Friedman and Darren Dreger talk about him, this seems pretty serious. On the list of body parts you don't want to injure, the neck has to be up there. But heading into this game, the pressure is on the team's elite players to be better. But it's also an enormous challenge for this D-core. Jake Muzzin, out. Liljegren, still out. Jordy Ben and Dahlstrom, who would have been useful backups, out. Without looking it up, without cheating, can you tell me the other Leafs defenseman called up right now? Can you? And if you don't know the answer, I'm not going to judge you. If you do know that the answer is Philip Kral, I am going to judge you. What a nerd! I'm kidding, but a lot of people probably didn't know. So the temperature's up, the Stars got to be better, the D-core is under enormous pressure, and all you got to do is play one of the biggest teams in the league in the Dallas Stars. That's cool, that's fun. But hey, Jake Ottinger, night off, he's not in the net. Guess what? The Dallas Stars give the Leafs the backup goalie treatment. And for most teams, that's Whew! Jake Ottinger, that's one of the best young goalies in the league. He's been unbeatable this season. Thank goodness. Meanwhile, you got Leaf fans like, oh, it's the kiss of death! Tell me about it. I benched Tyler Seguin on my fantasy team. Wait till later in the video to find out how that went. The Stars are capable no matter who's in net, and Wedgwood is a pretty underrated goalie in this league. There's a reason the Stars locked him up to a multi-year deal. Remember I said it's not necessarily losing, it's how you lose. The Leafs head to first intermission in this one, down 1-0, which would have been bad enough, but outshot 11-6. Not to mention there were like 4 shots between these two teams, maybe 10, 12 minutes into the period. If the Leafs were lulled to sleep by an abundance of action at the beginning of the Coyotes game, I can't imagine what this did to them. Here's the goal the Stars scored in the first period, and it's not the greatest. Nils Lundqvist, who the Stars acquired for a first-round pick from the Rangers, by the way, took a shot on goal, and Samsonov stopped it. That's a great start. But there's a rebound! Oh no! Hopefully there's a Leaf there to clean it up. Well, there's TJ Brodie in front, but he's got a man. There's Morgan Riley in front, but he's got a man. And then there's Luke Glendening, who's lonely. I'm so lonely. After being basically the only Leafs line that looked good in the first period, the Tavares, Willie, and Robertson line ended up being the only one that was dash. 1-0 Stars. But that wasn't even the thing that fans were most upset about. No, Jamie Benn with the sneaky cross-check on Austin Matthews right above the pants, right below the shoulder pads. And on Twitter, I called that trash because I'm smart and right. A lot of people were calling Leaf fans soft because they're wrong and dumb. My mentions seem to be full of people who have never taken a cross-check from Jamie Benn! A guy who got fined in last year's playoffs and then the very next game got fined. Because when you're buddies with George Peros, nothing matters. And no, I'm not saying he should be suspended for this. I'm just saying it's trash because it is. Now, what I did see people see is none of the Leafs said anything. And to that, I would say, look up Jamie Benn's fight card. I don't know if there is a Leaf currently playing, no, not Wayne Simmons, he hasn't played a game yet, who wants to open that door. I would say Wayne Simmons is probably the only Leaf who can open that door. Kyle Clifford too, but he's not even with the team right now. Through the first few games, I think we're starting to see teams take a lot of liberties with Austin Matthews in particular, and I would like to see someone step up. My question is, do the Leafs have the personnel? And then the question is, do you need the personnel or just the mentality? You know who's feisty and mean? Anthony Cirelli. Braden Point. The dirtiest guy on the Lightning isn't even Corey Perry, it's Nikita Kucherov. I don't know what the answer is long term, but the answer in the short term is play better in the second, which they did. Now in the first period, there were 3 penalties and none of them were tripping, which is hilarious because there were at least 6 trips in the first. Refs must have got the memo because 42 seconds in, boom, Heiskanen trip on Matthews. Leafs go to the power play. Fans have been quite upset with the power play. Top unit power play did not look good, but then the new look second unit comes out, and I shouldn't even put that in quotes. They were new looks. Sandin, maybe most importantly, has taken over for Mark Giordano, and in the mix, Nick Robertson. Sandin just puts it on, which sometimes I wish the first unit would do more. Bunting with the chance, Curva with a yawning cage, snipe! The guy who should have scored the game-tying goal last game scores the Leafs' first goal this game, tied up at 1s. And no, there wouldn't be any more scoring in the second period, but there would be a lot to build on. There were 6 penalties in the second period, and 5 of them went against the Stars. Heiskanen again, roughing. Jack Aston-Reese takes the Leafs' only penalty of the period, and even that was an elbow to a falling player. That power play was negated early on. Nice hustle from Mitch Marner to draw the interference call on Jason Robertson. Wyatt Johnston holding John Tavares. And with 5 seconds left in the period, Mason Marchment roughing on TJ Brodie, and he was hot about it. Now that's a tough one. Obviously, as a Leaf fan, I want to see the other team take penalties so that the Leafs have the power play, because the Leafs usually have a pretty good power play. You can roll your eyes all you want. It was the best in the league last year. But that was Mason Marchment doing something that happens every single game and 50 times a game in the playoffs with a little paw to TJ Brodie after a hit. I feel like you see these kinds of penalties early in the season because refs are trying to establish, hey, you can't do that, before waiting a couple months and then, yeah, go ahead. But if you're a Stars fan, I gotta sympathize with you. That had early season ref fest written all over it. And all over the score sheet, the Leafs tie it and outshoot the Stars 17-6 as a result. Scott Wedgwood was a busy bee. Which brings me to the beginning of the third period. You're gonna see on the box score that the Leafs were 1 for 8 on the power play. And yeah, that's concerning, isn't it? Except it's only kinda true. Marchman took his penalty with 5 seconds to go in the second period. Nick Robertson scored his first of the season a minute 59 into the third. So no, his goal was not a power play goal, but it was 4 seconds after the power play. Bunting to Robertson, my goodness, Nicky! I didn't make this joke and I should have, but I choose to erase Nick Robertson's NHL career prior to this game. It's fresh start, Nick. It didn't count. You get to keep the stats. You got a goal. You get to keep the goal. But his career has been so stop and start and stop and start, and he's in the lineup. He's injured. He's in the lineup. He's sent down. He's doing well. He's injured. He's back up. He's not playing very much. Then he's a destroyer of worlds in the preseason, and he loses his spot to Dennis Malgin and the fact that he is waivers eligible. Before the season, even though he was racking up points in the preseason, I said he still looks too chaotic. There's just something about his game that's not put together. In this hockey game, not because he scored here, not because he scored the overtime winner. This is the best professional hockey game I've ever seen Nick Robertson play. Everything was fluid and purposeful, and he got in there. And when he scored this goal, all bets were off. And in fact, he was almost a little too eager. Because like his next shift, he's flying out there. He's skating right into guys. And like, I appreciate the hustle, but I also appreciate physics, and you're 5'9", 183 pounds. He didn't care. He didn't care. And I really like that about him, because not caring shows you care in hockey. It's a silly sport, don't we love it so? But 5 minutes later, Tyler Seguin, who I had benched in fantasy, scored. Except, they waved it off, and they go to review it. Goalie interference. That's got to be goalie interference. And you watch the replay, and all right, Marner gets tangled up with Seguin. I thought Seguin pushed off of Marner and knocked Samsonov backward, which made him kick the puck into his own net. I could see the argument that it was Marner, but if you can see both sides, I believe that's what inconclusive is, and it needs to be conclusive to overturn the on-ice call, which was no goal! And Kyle Dubas is all of us waiting 45 minutes for this review. Oh my God, this isn't gonna go our way, is it? And Kyle, you were right. They announced that the goal counts. I leave points on the bench, and the television camera caught Kyle Dubas making a swear, making a oh my goodness, Kyle, that is wow. I mean, same, but wow. It is a tied game in the third. A lot of tight games to start the season. Holy cow. The good news is the final 2 penalties of the game went in favor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yanni Hakanpää roughing on Austin Matthews, who, I don't know if you were keeping score, but got cross-checked by Jamie Benn, blocked a shot with his instep that looked really painful, took a Rasmus Sandin high stick to the face, and then this, anyone who calls Matthews soft just isn't watching, and you should. He's very good. You should watch. The Leafs don't convert there, but with about a minute left in the game, it was terrifying. Luke Glendening, interference on Mark Giordano. I think their skates just collided, to be honest. I wasn't 100% sure this should be a penalty. I don't know. If there's malicious intent, yeah, and I understand why he got the 2 here. But in real time, it looks like a 5 because it looks like Mark Giordano is down and not going to get back up. He does get up on his own strength, which is good. They show him on the bench, which is good. But the moment I actually allowed myself to breathe like, oh, he's okay, is when he said something on the bench to Justin Hall, and Hall laughed. I'm like, okay, it's not just that he got up, he seems with it. That's anecdotal evidence at best. I'm not a doctor, but it made me feel better, at least. Leafs don't convert before regulation ends. We go to overtime, 4-on-3, and the Leafs don't convert, which means 4-on-4, which means boo! It's not as good. It really isn't as good, and we did that for too long. I understand you can't just go straight from 5-on-5 to 5-on-3, but those 4-on-4 years, we didn't know what we were missing. Now, early in the overtime, Nick Robertson was getting some time, and I'm like, oh, that's fun that it's 4-on-4. That's the only reason he's out there, right? No. All of a sudden, he's out there 3-on-3, and not in the way that any of us expected. Remember in Anchorman when Ron Burgundy jumps into the panda exhibit and is like, I immediately regret this decision. That is the stance. That is the body language of Nick Robertson right there. He is the only person more terrified than him is every other Leaf fan. That's when Jamie Benn, villain of the first period, overplayed his hand. Because he sees Nick Robertson, and he sees that he has a 2-on-1, and he sees a rookie who's a forward. I learned that the hard way. He's a forward. But in this particular instance, he's playing defense. And so he said, all right, I'm just gonna dangle the guy. And for a very brief moment, he was right. Also, I like the closed captioning. It's like a warning. Second, look. Now, when Robertson swats at the puck and misses it, Ben's got him beat. He's got him beat. He's got a clear path to a one-timer and probably the game winner, even though Samsonov was great tonight, I thought. I mean, that's going to be a hard one to stop. But instead, he tries to get body position on Robertson, who he has mostly beat, but not entirely. Because you got Matthews back checking here. He does actually a really good job to get his stick in the lane. And while he's trying to step around Robertson, it allows him to recover and swat the puck out of Ben's possession. Robertson gets it to Riley, and he's on his horse. Riley curls back the other way. Matthews beats the 2 Stars attackers, and it's a 3-on-1. Robertson to Matthews, who passes. Why did he pass? Because of this. All of this. You know how hard it is to find that much real estate for that cheap in Toronto? Wedgwood was a miracle worker in this game, making 40 saves, but he was not gonna stop that. Nick Robertson, his second of the game, wins it, and the Leafs, 3-2, heading on this long 5-game road trip. It's better than 2-3. It's even better than 2-2-1. And I've said it in years past, but there is nothing that goes to your legs like a rookie just clicking. Felt like the Leafs won for him. Before we get to questions, I want to go to Grav. He's a Stars fan who I work with on the Sportsnet YouTube channel. He's got his own YouTube channel. It's huge. I wish I had the platform this guy has. When I was his age, I wish I had his talent and enthusiasm. I wish I had anything he had except for the 2 points tonight. Here's Grav.
Thanks for having me on, Steve. My name is Grav, if you guys don't know already. Yes, I am a Stars fan, don't judge me. But I'm here to talk about the Stars side of things with this game for just a little bit, and I'll say, I got to relate to y'all Leafs fans just a little bit today, because the Stars made it as easy as possible to get as stressed as possible during this game. This was a game I was expecting for the Stars to lose maybe 4-1, 5-1, especially Wedgwood in net and not Ottinger. But the thing was, the Leafs were given 8 different power plays, and all of those power plays, all those chances, with the Stars especially keeping the game close, kept me roped in every single time. The problem was, it was just a lost cause. Those power plays would just overwhelm the Stars, and even though the Stars would eventually tie this game, I had the feeling inside my heart that the Leafs were going to win this game eventually. I mean, my goodness. I mean, Nick Robertson, what is there to say? He gets the bragging rights at Thanksgiving dinner now, and to be honest, it's deserved. But hey, it's still a 3-0-1 start to the season, even though I would have loved to have this win. At least the Stars are still in a great position, and also Tyler Seguin is back, so I'll take that. But thank you so much, Steve, for having me and being able to provide a little bit of Stars insight on the channel. But to, again, Leafs fans, GG's. I was not expecting a win, but this was one heck of a game.
Dude, I love this guy. Subscribe. Producer Drew, put where to find him. You know, just put it somewhere. He's great. Before we get to questions, I do want to say one thing. If there was one thing I want to nitpick about this game, and it's not a nitpicking thing, it's a this needs to be solved now thing. I've seen some people were getting on Matthews, and I actually thought he had an incredible game in this one. And it showed in this game how effective he can be even when he's not scoring goals. I thought he had a really gritty, good contributing game, and it was amazing that he helped out with the OT winner. Bunting was another guy who, heading into this game and after the first period, I was like, oh man, he doesn't really seem like he has it, and then he gets 2 assists. But the other member of that top line, he works really hard. You can never accuse him of not working hard, but there's something off with Mitch Marner's game right now, and I think he needs to refocus. Something he was doing after every whistle, and I know this drives the ref nuts, he was looking at the refs after every single whistle. And this is in a game where the Leafs had 8 power plays. Yapping at the refs from the bench and just the body language. Something is not right there. He's not Fun Mitch. And Fun Mitch is a hurricane. He's incredibly difficult to beat. When Fun Mitch is there, his line mate gets 60 goals. Heck, he doesn't even have to be Fun Mitch. He just needs to be not rattled Mitch. And I'm not gonna lie, for most of this game, he looked kind of unfocused. I'm gonna say that word. Unfocused, not rattled. Unfocused. Because Tavares and Willie have been clicking all season so far, and now they got Nick Robertson, who looks like he could be huge on that line. The Leafs need the top line to be optimized, because if both those lines are clicking, there's not a lot of teams who can beat them. Questions. What was your reaction to Nick's OT goal? Yeah! I didn't record it, but it was pretty accurate. Does this win calm you down a little about the rest of the season? No. I mean, a little. It mostly calms me down about the next 48 hours. Check out Watch a Leafs Game with Steve Dangle on the Sportsnet YouTube channel on Saturday. I don't go here, but that goal was very timely, as in it happened in the nick of time. Melissa, after that, you have no choice. You do go here. And this last one, it's not a question, but I just liked it. He was the unsung hero of this game. Ilya Samsonov. I live day by day. Tomorrow, I go to practice. Have some smile and go on road trip. I'm glad he's have some smile, and I hope you have some too. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Have some smile. Oh! And I should probably mention, you know how you're watching LFR on YouTube right now? There are other ways to do it now. Because we've launched LFR on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and on Google Podcasts. I don't know if it's available there yet, but it will be very soon. If you ever watch these videos and you're like, shucks, I gotta stop watching it, I gotta go somewhere. Now you can listen to it wherever you are. Welcome to LFR. Now on other stuff.